It's such a beautiful day today, and I know the sun has half of my face, but that's okay because yesterday I was literally freezing, and today it's so nice and sunny. I just had to come outside and make this video, but for aesthetics, I probably need to get a bit out of the sun. Yes, I am one of those amateurs who keep moving the video up and down until I find the right position. I was just having a conversation, however, and it led me to thinking I need to make this video. It was a conversation that was basically talking about cash, debit card, or credit card usage. And it's a conversation that I have had before. It's a viewpoint that was shared before. And at this point, I really try not to get into too deep a talk over which is better. Because in my world, I strongly believe in tried and tested methods and the things that work best for you. So the thought process surrounding this is that as I continue in this time of reflection, 50 years and counting, I am so surprised at how many different jobs I have had. And it's so funny because jobs are really different from careers. And many times you get that job because you need work. And with that job comes training. So they will teach you what they need you to know so you can function. I'm going to change this angle because it really looks weird. This looks better, I think. Yeah. And so it dawned on me that I have worked in financial services on at least 4 different occasions. I would never, ever, ever put on my resume, if I were ever to do one again, which I really have no plans in doing, but I would never, ever say that I have a background in financing or financial management because I was just doing a job. And now that I put it like that, it sounds kind of weird, but it is surprising when I think that being trained as a life insurance salesman, as it was called, you were automatically a part of the financial services in the island of Jamaica. And that's a training that I have done, and that's an accreditation that I hold. I've never used it for anything outside of offering life insurance products. But yeah, as I reflect on this, I do have a background in financial services. So look at that. So many times when a video is put up and the person giving the talk states this is not financial advice, it's not intended in any way, shape, or form to advise you on decisions you should make and products that you should take. Yeah, that is true too, because I'm not functioning as a financial advisor. I'm not attached to any company. However, I have been trained. I feel so proud of myself. And then too, one of the careers that I pursued when I had my second migratory stint in Canada, that's a story for another day, was actually financial services. And to make it more interesting, my second real job was as a mortgage arrears clerk. It's really stacking up. Oh boy. And I just remembered that I also worked as an online teller when I had my second stint as well in life in Canada. You know, if I were to credit DoorDash for anything, it would be to get me to go back in time and to see how much I have done in I'm about to say in my short life, but yeah, in 50 odd years, I've done a lot. And it's so funny, especially when you start getting grumpy about what you have done, what you have achieved, what you have not achieved. Because we value accomplishments based on the tangibles. But I have so much under my belt, if I wore a belt. Yeah, so with that being said, nothing that I did in the financial services arena, neither in North America nor in Jamaica, prepared me for this lesson I learned by trial and error. And that's what I want us to focus on: cash, debit card, or credit card payments. And it's a very simple thing. Simple for me. Simple because I have paid the fees. I've learned the hard way. I have had the winnings. And that's what I want to share with you. So, and these are the facts. Any banker, any financial planner will take these and they will hold them up to the light and they will tell you, yes, this has passed the litmus test of spending. And so the first thing that we're going to talk about is cash. And the conversation that I got into was one that was somewhat spiritual, and the fading out of cash and the potential implications. Now, for me, this is not getting into that part. I'm just using what's really available and how we typically make payments. Because you see, many times we have thought processes and we can choose to use or not to use. I am still trying to get the lighting out of the camera. I'm not sure what this video will look like at the end because the sun is shifting, but I'm going to use it anyway. But cash is probably the least intended method or accepted method of payment as we go or grow into a more digital world. And there's so many ways to emit or to avoid using cash. One of the disadvantages of cash that I want us to remember when making a decision whether to use cash, debit card, or credit card is that cash once spent is not traceable. One of the disadvantages personally for me is by using cash only, it's more difficult to track my spending. So if I were to give a star and a reason as to why cash is not always advantageous, is the whole business of the inability, or not the inability, the greater challenge that comes with tracking my payment. Really, the sun is moving and so is my camera. Yeah. Now we'll leave it right there because there are so many things that could be said, but the main thing is tracking your spending with cash is time consuming and sometimes the more difficult method of payment. Now, your debit card is attached to your bank account and you spend only what you have, which many persons think that's a great idea. But what I have found, especially in the last few years, especially for many clients of the major banks in Jamaica, when funds disappear from your account, your savings or your checking account, or your just by your debit card. So for example, you go to the ATM, you use your card and you make a withdrawal or even a deposit, and not long thereafter a transaction is done on your behalf without you knowing, using your card again, and it was not done by you. This has been one of the greatest heartaches and difficulties that persons have experienced, because the bank tends to say you're responsible for all transactions that have been done by your card. And the discovery has been that many many devices have been inserted at ATMs which automatically clone your card and make a direct replica which can be used to empty your bank account. There have been horror stories, and persons have up to this point not been able to recoup the funds that have been withdrawn or otherwise used. I use withdrawal because that's the first one that comes to mind, but it could also be an online purchase. The other thing though that really prompted this video was that I made a purchase, 3 purchases using a debit card, because I had a challenge with the credit card, and I thought I needed to get these payments done. There was a time limit and it was a very sensitive matter, and so I did these 3 individual payments using the debit card. And much to my surprise and dismay, there was a debit card, an international charge. I'm trying to remember the term, but there was an international charge on each of these 3 transactions of $9 US. And then there was another $3 tax added on to those 3 purchases. So in essence, because I made that decision to make 3 payments using this debit card, I walked away the loser. The bank won. I lost $20, $21, $22 roughly, and I am suspecting there might be another charge because there were 3 transactions and there were only 2 international charges. So I am looking to lose close to 30 US because I had a challenge paying by a credit card, used a debit card, and the bank has to get to their due, and this is their due. So the preferred method for me, and this is because of situations like the one I just mentioned, is by credit card. And the banks will tell you automatically that the money that you're spending on a credit card, it's not your money, it's the bank's money. And that used to infuriate me because I would put the money on, which in my mind was my money, and then I would use it. However, if something happened, as I had something happen, and I would now be querying the bank, they would say, oh no, it's a credit card. We lend you money. We give you the privilege of using our money, and as such, you are responsible to us to repay us our money. And it has been a long going debate, but one of the things that finally quieted my heart was when I discovered that in the event that there is some fraudulent or otherwise activity on said credit card, it's the bank's money. The bank has all the systems in place to get back their money. And so if this money is misappropriated, is used by some method that you did not authorize, the bank will jump on it and they will find ways to retrieve the money and to make the money available either to themselves or back to the payment method. It might mean canceling the card, which will put you out of pocket or out of source or access for a little bit, but it will come back to you. So if that were the only reason to use a credit card over a debit card, it is a good reason. But I would want us to look on some of the other things. There are benefits attached now to all card products, and I'll just name a few of them. And the benefits tend to improve based on the type of card, based on the issuing institution, based on quite a few factors. But the card that I like a lot is a card that offers you cash back. because with a card that's offering you cash back, you are able to get funds that have been spent paid back to your card. Many times it's a starter percentage, and the typical starter percentage is 1%. So if you were to spend $500, you would get $50 back. And mathematically, and dollar for dollar, some people will say, oh, that's not a lot. But this is how I look at it. It could be $50 back to my annual fee. It could be $50 back to a charge that the bank had levied against me. It could be $50 back against interest. And as we start speaking about interest, the smart way, and this is what the banks will tell you, but many people don't really listen: if you pay all that you use on that statement before the statement due date, you pay no interest. So, to be clear, the bank is saying to you, we want to give you free money, and we want to pay you to use free money. Follow these simple steps. Pay your statement on or before the due date and pay it in full. They also say take advantage of the products. If it's a cashback, spend from your credit card, not from your debit card. Redeem the cashback, and now we are paying you to spend. If you have another tiered card, like one of those that I really love, that will give you travel points, or they will give you airport lounges, those are fabulous, because here you are, you have points that you can use towards travel, or you can have points to access the various lounges, airline lounges like Delta, Sky Miles. Oh, it's so funny because walking through airports and being able to peek into the airport lounge and see the cushy chairs and all of that, particularly if I'm in an airport where I wasn't aware there's a lounge that I could access with priority pass, for example, just makes me feel so sad. Now, as far as airport lounges go, I could talk about the one that I am just totally enamored with, which is the VIP attractions in Montego Bay. Kingston has it as well, but it is not as fulfilling. But yes, so airport lounges, points on your card that can be redeemed for cashback, for travel, and of course, we're not even talking today about those co-branded cards, like the hotel branded cards or the airline branded cards that will give you these bonus points just for joining. So just something to consider when spending. The thought is, think well, spend well. Cash, debit, or credit. And if you choose credit, you automatically end up with a fourth currency, points. And in another video, should you request it, we shall speak about why points have become the next big currency that you should be taken advantage of. But enough said. And here I am, the sun just went down as though in full unison to the change that has happened in the direction that this video is taken, because we're coming to the end. And as you know, Sherry has a lot to say. So for this chat, I'm signing out, and we will talk again in my next video. Ciao for now.